So, the lesson today is going to be pie chart interpretation, Baba. How can we interpret pie chart? All of you know what pie is. Pie looks like this, right? It's yummy and tasty. And if I bring a huge pie in your class, and if I make slices like these ones, whatever you can see on the board, and if I distribute each of you, how many ways I can distribute? I mean, I can make unequal slices, right? This one is small, this one is a little big one, this one is huge. And if Sagar takes this part, what will I think? Oh my God, this man eats a lot, right? I can say that. And then all of you will start comparing with one another. Oh, Sagar got thrice than me, thrice bigger slice than me. Or somebody is going to say, oh my God, I just got half of what others got. You will compare, you may not say, I got this one, but inside you will have something, oh my God, I got a smaller one. Does it not come to your mind? Sometimes when Amma distributes bananas, oh, I got a smaller banana. The other person got a bigger one. Maybe not with the bananas, but if I do with the pies, I think you will compare somewhere. Not because you want to have somebody else's portion, but because somebody else got bigger than you, right? Or you got smaller than somebody else. So this is very, very important in various different exams. And if you want to write exams, English proficiency exams like IELTS or TOEFL also, you will be asked all that, right? So we have a chart where you have banana, orange, grapes and apple, and it shows the preference of a people of a particular place. So where do we get this pie chart from? By asking people, by taking a survey. We get pie chart. Pie chart is a diagrammatic representation of data that you find from your survey. Alright? So how do we do the interpretation? कसरी interpretation गर्ने त है? राम्ररी ध्यान दिनुहोस्. Step 1. The first thing that you do is write an introduction, the introductory line. पहिलो introduction को line लेख्नु पर्यो बाबा. Introduction मा के लेख्नु पर्यो? What should we write? We should write what the pie chart represents. What is it about? Right? So we can say the following pie chart illustrates the distribution of favorite fruits. What are the different fruits here? Banana, apple, and grape, and orange, and so on. So what is it about? What does it depict? Favorite fruits of people living in a place. I don't know where, but you can say, see here, survey conducted at a local supermarket. So in a supermarket like Bhatbatini, this survey was conducted. And from there, we got the data here. And then this was represented as a pie chart. It says a lot of things. Does it not?
Yes.
Does it not?
Yes.
So the first line that you write when you interpret a pie chart can be of the following type. The opening line can take different forms, right? There are these examples you can use. Okay? For example, it represents data from a survey conducted. This is how you can start. Or you can write, the data is based on responses from 70 people in a local supermarket when asked them about their favorite fruit. Right? Or you can say, this chart depicts the distribution of their favorite fruits. And then the survey was conducted to understand. All of these phrases, they mean the same thing. You have to find what you like and you can start your opening line. First line, the first paragraph. Here you can see. Among the following pie chart illustrates the distribution of favorite fruits among the group of 50 participants. The survey was taken from 50 participants in a survey conducted at a local supermarket. So this sentence tells us a lot about what the pie chart is all about. Everything, more or less. The main thing about the pie chart. Where was it surveyed? and how many people participated and what it is about, right? So to say that, you can use these sentence structures. Do you understand this? बुझ्न सकिन्छ? यिनी सेन्टेन्स के स्ट्रक्चर हामीले के गर्छ के युज गर्न सकिन्छ, ठीक छ? अब त्यसपछि दोस्रो स्टेपमा नाउ दोस्रो प्याराग्राफमा अथवा दोस्रो लाइनमा के लेख्नु पर्यो त? क्याटेगोरी. व्हाट आर द क्याटेगोरीज? क्याटेगोरीजहरु के छन् त? Apple, banana, orange, grapes. 4 categories are mentioned, right? So you have to mention. How do you mention these 4 categories? How do you start the line? How do you start the sentence? No, you don't go directly to that. You are not comparing right now. You are just mentioning purely the categories. So here you are given. Okay. The categories represented are, what are the categories? You write those names. Or you can say the pie chart comprises of apples, oranges, bananas, and grapes, and so on. 4 categories are displayed. How many categories are displayed? The other way of saying the same thing. 4 categories are mentioned, namely भनेको के छन् त? त्यो कुरा गर्न सक्यो. अनि अर्को कुरा, the segments in the chart. There are many segments. How many segments are there? The 4 segments represent apples, oranges, or 4 slices of the pie chart. Pie, खाने पाइको slices represent के कुरा गर्न सक्यो कि सकेन? अनि ती कुराहरु गर्न सक्यो. See, here an example sentence is given. The pie chart comprises 4 categories of fruits: apples, bananas, oranges, and grapes. See, that's a beautiful sentence. And then step 3. Now you read the values. You mention some values. अब स्टेपमा के हुन्छ? भ्याल्युजहरु मेन्सन गर्नु पर्यो. सबै भ्याल्यु, not all the values. Oh, 40% of the people prefer apples. 10% of the people liked grapes the most. Not all the values. Only 1 or 2. Only 1 or 2. All right. So mention the numbers. For example, here apples account for 40% of the participants. Apple कति जनाले मन पर्दैन? 40% ले मन पर्दैन. So apples account, beautiful verb, account भन्न सक्यो. Okay na? Account. Or you can say bananas represent 30%. 30% of the people prefer bananas, right? Oranges make up. See these verbs, make up, account for, constitute. भन्न सक्यो कि सकेन? These are different ways of saying the same thing. Talking about data. Data को कुरा गर्नलाई, data नम्बरहरुको कुरा गर्नलाई हामीले account for, represent, make up, constitute आदि इत्यादि कुराहरु गर्न सक्यो कि सकेन? सक्यो, हो क्या? तर सबै गर्ने हैन, not all, अबको नेचुरल कुरा के हुन्छ? अब के गर्नुपर्ने के कुरा के हुन्छ? कम्पेयर गर्नु पर्यो मलाई, एनालाइज गर्नु पर्यो. Number. Now we know the numbers. Now we have to analyze these numbers. Some numbers are big, some numbers are small, right? Some numbers are equal. Analyze, right? If I give all of you 2 oranges, then automatically you will think, oh, Vedda is distributing equally. That is your analysis. If I give somebody 10 apples and somebody 1 apple, then somebody no apples, then what will be your analysis? Oh, Vedda is, he is not giving equally. That's your analysis, right? Yes. If I give 8 apples to this fellow, and then 4 apples to this boy, and then 2 apples to this lady, and 1 apple to this girl, and no apples to that girl, what will happen? Vedda is decreasing every time the apples by half. Right? That is your analysis from the distribution. So this is the distribution. So analysis. Analysis will be, what do you see the first? What's your analysis? What's the first thing that strikes to your mind, brain?
10 times.
I would say 70% of the people have preferred either apple or banana. They are the dominant ones, right? They are dominating, right? Apple and bananas, right? The majority of the participants prefer apples and bananas, indicating a strong preference for and apple and bananas. What are they? They are common fruits. They are found throughout the year, anywhere, anytime, any place, right? There is no season where you don't get apples. I mean, they are stored. If you go to the market also, you can get apples throughout the year. Or similarly, bananas also. But you may not get mangoes, right? Mangoes are highly seasonal fruits. Very hard to store as well. So anyway, how do we express analysis? Apples and bananas are the most preferred. Most preferred. When something is most preferred, or something is most liked, if something is the greatest, if something is the biggest, if something is the smallest, that's your analysis, right? You use those adjectives. And then the majority of the participants prefer the majority, right? Majority majority. Oranges have a significant but moderate preference. Oranges, 20% of the people like oranges. It is significant, right? We cannot neglect 20% people. But it is not too high. It's moderate. What is moderate? So lala, somewhere in the middle, right? Grapes show the lowest. You also want to consider, you want to say something about the lowest also, right? Lowest point already. These are all analysis. The distribution of preference is show. के show देख्छु के देखाउँछ ती कुराहरु एनालिसिस तिमीले गर्छौ के गर्छौ त्यसपछि एनालिसिस गर्छौ अनि फिफ्थ स्टेपमा अब now you want to express, now you have mentioned the numbers, you have mentioned the analysis, mention analysis गरियो त्योभन्दा पहिला के गरियो बाबा नम्बरहरु भनियो ध्यान दियो दिमागमा खोपडीमा कुन स्टेप पछि कुन स्टेप म सोध्छु लास्ट गर्नु पर्यो नि नम्बरहरु भनियो नम्बर भनेपछि त्यो एनालिसिस गरियो एनालिसिस गरेपछि त analysis गरिसकेपछि you will find some trends. Okay na? Azabali nowadays what's the trend? Most of the students after finishing their 12th, what do? They go to foreign countries to continue their studies or earn money. That's the trend, right? Similarly, when you study a graph, when you take data and when you read the data, you will find some trends. You will find some trends. Yes. Something is growing, something is decreasing, something is at the same level. ती कुराहरु हुन्छ कि हुँदैन अब पाइ चार्टमा त कुनै वर्ष छैन इन्क्रिज भयो डिक्रिज भयो भन्ने कुरा छैन छ त छैन तर केही न केही ट्रेन्ड यहाँ पनि बन्न सक्यो होला अब for example the majority of the participants prefer apples and bananas indicating a strong preference for the common and widely available fruits. What's your favorite fruit? If somebody asks you what's your favorite fruit, tell me fast. Banana.
Apple. Mango. Banana. Mango.
Jackfruit.
Nobody said kiwi. Nobody said dragon fruit. Huh? Nobody said pineapples. Why? Mostly we like fruits that are common. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Yes. Jackfruit, yeah. Jackfruit is common because Himal ate a lot of jackfruit when he was in Tarai. Every day, probably few jackfruits. चोरी गर्दै खाँदै त्यही भएर मलाई त्यो कमन लाग्यो त्यही भएर मलाई फेभरेट छ भनेपछि के जे यहाँ पनि त डेटा के पनि त इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा आयो नि अब्जर्भेसन सब धेरै जसोले एप्पल र म्याङ्गो एप्पल र बनाना खाइराखेका छन् ए बाबा एप्पल र बनाना त सधैँभरि आउँछ कसैले भनेन उ चाहिँ अरूको फ्रुट अझ म्याङ्गो त कसैले भनेन विदेशको कुरा थियो होला यो डेटा विदेशमा थियो होला विदेशमा म्याङ्गो त जहाँ पाते फेरि त्यतिकै पाइँदैन पाए पनि महँगो हुन्छ ठीक छ भनेपछि यसरी हामीले के पनि पत्ता लगाउन सकिन्छ ट्रेन्ड भनेको प्याटर्न हो के हुँदैछ देयर इज अ ट्रेन्ड राइट व्हाट्स द फ्यासन ट्रेन्ड दिस डेज व्हाट्स द ट्रेन्डिङ फ्यासन कस्तो हुन्छ अलि लुज कपडा लाउने फ्यासन आउन थाल्यो होला बिस्तारै पहिला टाइट आउन थाल्यो अब लुज लाउँदै अझ हल्लिँदै सब ट्रेन्ड हो all this thanks right यस्तो विचित्र छ ट्रेन्ड को कुरा गर्नु पर्यो whenever you see trend you have to mention this अनि त्यसपछि अब हामी जान्छौं अब 6th we may find additional information पाइ चार्टमा एडिशनल इन्फर्मेसन दिएको हुन सक्छ कहाँनिर माथिको हेडिङमा at the heading or somewhere at the bottom on the side also maybe dates are mentioned where the place is mentioned how that could be mentioned apart from the numbers you can study those things and then you can give additional information कुरो बुझिन्छ कि बुझिँदैन for example if you look at this book here there is some information definitely here there is some information definitely here from that also you can get some information right you can mention This is also very crucial, important. Conducted during summer season. So you see, look at that. By reading this, can you say something about summer season? यहाँ देखेर कसैले समर सिजन हो भन्छ? लगभग भन्दैन। ए अरेन्ज पाइँदो रहेछ त्यही भएर समर होला भन्छ भन्ला कसैले। ए केला पाइँदो रहेछ त्यही भएर समर होला भन्ला। तर भने त छैन नि। तर तिमीले माथि हेडिङमा पढ्यो भने समर भनेर लेखा हुन सक्छ, विन्टर भनेर लेखा हुन सक्छ। ओके हो एडिसनल इन्फर्मेसन हामीले दिन सकिन्छ। इट्स वर्थ नोटिङ दैट द सर्वे वाज कन्डक्टेड ड्युरिङ द समर सिजन। त्यसरी कसरी इट्स वर्थ नोटिङ। लुक एट दिस फ्रेज, भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट इन इंग्लिश। इट्स वर्थ noting. Additional context suggests. Additional context suggests. Suggest गर्छ। Considering the circumstances, विभिन्न परिस्थितिहरूलाई consider गर्दा त्यो कुरा लेख्न सक्यो। ओके त्यसरी सेन्टेन्सलाई बनाउन सक्यो। The survey was conducted during. The information adds perspective. It adds perspective. दृष्टिकोण दिन्छ। Look at the beautiful way of various different ways of putting your information right across. You see? And then step 7, now conclusion, you have to summarize. At the end, what do you want to say? You want to say goodbye? Do you want to say have a nice day?
No.
Huh? Or do you want to say I like the pie chart? I eat pie because. No. What do you want to do? You want to mention the most important things that you found from the pie chart. Pie chart बाट सबभन्दा important चीज हो के फेला पार्यो त्यसको recap देन. Whatever you have mentioned in the previous paragraphs, you mention the most important lines in a different way. You rephrase those things, right? भनेपछि यहाँ सबभन्दा स्ट्राइकिङ थिङ के छ त अहिले मैले यहाँ दिँदाखेरि अरु केही नभए पनि एप्पल र बनानाको कुरा त एकदमै पर्फेक्ट छ। सबैलाई के भन्नु पर्छ स्याउ र भनेपछि त्यो कुरा यहाँ लेख्नु। इन कन्क्लुजन कसरी लेख्ने त इंग्लिशमा? How do we write in English? In conclusion, the pie chart reveals. To summarize. To summarize. भनेपछि बुझ्यो कि now you are summarizing. हो के न? To summarize लेख्न साथ के बुझ्यो? Oh, now that this fellow is summarizing the whole thing. The data suggests, or from the analysis, in brief, संक्षिप्त summary में, in brief. So these are different expressions that can be used. You don't have to use whatever is written here. This is just a demonstration showing you, giving you ideas on how you can start your sentences. Alright? And explain what you want to explain clearly, effectively, and in a very succinct manner. Precise way. Okay? यसरी हामीले के गर्न सकिन्छ? पाई चार्टलाई एक्सप्लेन गर्न, इन्टरप्रिटेसन अफ पाई चार्ट गर्न सकिन्छ। भनेपछि भोलि तिमीहरूले के गर्नु पर्यो त? एउटा एक्सरसाइज गरेर लिएर आउनु पर्यो। त्यहाँ दिएको छ एउटा एक्सरसाइज। You will do that. All right.